place to promote the growth of Tigres in English through analysis, discussions, interviews, and more. Welcome to the lautimes podcast. And we are back on a Sunday night. Welcome back to lautimes, the only podcast in the world that talks about Tigres in English. We're back to discuss a very good result last night for our men's squad. And we're also going to discuss some Leagues Cup tonight because it's coming sooner than we think. For right now, it's a two-man show. I'm Dennis, currently hosting. Maybe the real host will show up later at some point. But I am happy to be joined by somebody in Houston that is not Arnoldo, and that is my boy Alfred. How are you, my friend?
Very happy, very surprised, man, with that win yesterday.
Bro, no kidding. Excuse me. I've been listener, viewer, if you're watching, pardon me for my state of being. It's been a weird day for me, running on like 2 hours of sleep and some tacos messed me up last night. Anywho, yeah, man, what a result last night against the defending Liga MX champions Toluca. We will get to all of that, of course, and we will, like I said, talk about Leagues Cup. The new Originals collection dropped. We'll probably mention that here in a little bit as well. And Feminine plays tomorrow, so we'll touch on that. Also, thanks for being here. If you're watching on YouTube and Twitter right now, do us a favor. If you're watching on either platform, come hang out in the chat. Let us know your thoughts about the game last night and about what you're thinking for Leagues Cup. And if you're on Twitter, help us out. Give this stream a retweet, a like, a comment, all the different things. Help us to get this out to more people. Already got 17 people on, which is fantastic. Come join us. Come hang. Hopefully, more of the guys will join us here soon. All right, let's talk about last night. Toluca 3, Tigres 4. A very interesting performance, but a very fantastic result, mind you, against a pretty rotated Toluca side. It was still nice to see the boys score goals on the road to finally get that monkey off the back. I think that's the biggest headline in all of this. So I'll kick it over to you, man. Your just initial thoughts on that performance last night, on the road, in the rain, against a tough team, despite the fact that they had a lot of their starting 11 on the bench to start.
Man, what a wild roller coaster of emotions last night. I mean, obviously going into the game, and we talked about it last week, we were not, the most confident going into the game. I myself predicted a tie, as a great result, obviously being on the road, being in Toluca, and the fact that they're the defending champions, that they've been, kicking ass everywhere, just, came back from beating America at the Campeón de Campeones. And us, who are, pretty much still a team that's, trying to get used to a new coach, Guido Pizarro, and trying to mesh well with, with the new signing of Angel Correa. We honestly, we thought most of the guys here, Arnoldo, Lou, agreed that we were probably going to lose. So going into the game, obviously, we were not very hopeful. I think when we saw, the lineup, and it seemed like, okay, it's what we expected, right? But then what surprised us was obviously the lineup of Toluca. As soon as we saw that, I think only Paulinho and Elinho were the only two starters, if I'm not mistaken. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, well, maybe there's a chance. Obviously, we're scared to face Toluca with their A team. They're clearly coming at us with their B team. This is our opportunity. And then, 10 minutes in, we're getting our ass handed to us by the only starters there. So it obviously our confidence dropped. it kind of felt like online, people were starting to get angry, at just the lineup and just the fact that it seems like the defense or the back line is not clicking. We don't know why Joaquin is still not starter. We don't know why that Pizarro is going for Swarg. Some people still have doubts with Purata, and then of course the goal. We could easily blame Aquino for it, because obviously he's the one that enabled Paulinho in onside position. So it was just very quickly, it kind of set us into a reality that we didn't want. But what a surprise, man! What I mean, they turned it around, and just ending the half 3-1 was just mind blowing. I mean, obviously, I was watching the game at a bar with Arnoldo, and we were completely surprised. Like it was, out of nowhere. Obviously, we have one of our members, Lou, must have been very happy with Nico Ibanez's brace, and it almost seemed like he could have had the hat trick finally. Hey, there you go, nice score. But he could have had the hat trick finally yesterday, right? But I mean, yeah, it's just it was a very wild game. I think it benefited us that Toluca played with their B team, because we after the first goal we did end up controlling for the most part the game. And at least from my perspective, what I noticed a lot was just I think Correa to me is our biggest difference maker on the field, and not necessarily with the ball, because I don't think we've seen yet enough of him with the ball, but just his moving on the field, his positioning, his pulling defenders towards him. I believe on the first goal, and if not, also no, I'm sorry, the second goal and the third goal, like literally, defenders were there. He was getting double coverage by defenders and leaving on the I think on the second goal Ociel open, and then on the third goal, Nico Ibanez open. So it's that to me is a difference maker. I mean, we talked about it before the season started that was going to be maybe one of his biggest influence. Trying to open up space for his teammates, and we're already seeing it. So glad for that. I stopped
Absolutely.
talking right when you were chewing.
I know, as I'm eating my fruit jerky. Anyways, um, yeah, I 100% agree with that analysis. Um, I don't like that Correa got, and again, as we always say on the show, FOP mob, sofa score is not gospel. But I don't like that
Mm-mm,
Correa got a 6.8 because I felt
mm-mm.
like you said, his influence off the ball, dragging defenders out, really made a difference. You can tell that he's a guy that people in the league are taking note of, even if he hasn't statistically provided anything yet. Um, I mean, technically, that first goal should have been his, right? Um,
Yeah,
but I thought last night for him to put in that performance, um, to be such an influence, and then also to play the whole 90, I was kind of stunned by that. I thought that he would get
yeah,
pulled considering the
yeah,
altitude and the fact that we're now in 2 games a week mode. Um, thank you, Threedker, for agreeing with me. That was not a
yeah,
6.8 performance. Um, yeah, I was impressed with the sort of desire that the team had. That we just didn't see that, albeit different circumstances, different squad even for Toluca, but that desire that we didn't even see the last time we played in that stadium in May. Like it just
yeah.
wasn't there, and to see that difference, I thought was a big deal. I thought Ociel was really good again. A very good Diego Lainez game. Um,
That's a second very good game
I know
he's
in a
had. I
row.
mean,
This
he's
the
yeah,
scholarship
great
Sunday
start of the
again.
season.
Um,
The scholarship.
seriously, Brunetta had a really strong game, especially compared to last week. Corriaran was
Yeah.
unbelievable, kind of anchoring things in the midfield. That's the sort of that five. Uh,
Makes us wonder, like, is Guido's Pizarro plan going to work? Like,
yeah,
I mean, they're not. Obviously, this is a second game in, but they're not doing bad, half bad out of their positions, basically.
right, right, exactly. The one thing I will say is that we can't. We have to take some things with a grain of salt. The game changed in the second half when the guys for Toluca came on, when Ruiz came on specifically, when Vega came on, when Gallardo came on. Um, the game changed back in their favor a little bit. Obviously, that pass that Vega had for Ruiz's goal, which was unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Just
Props to him.
unreal. Unreal.
Yeah. That's what happens when those guys are playing. So the combination of that and then also some of the subs being really lackluster from Guido, like Osvi was not very good when he came on. I mean, he also got thrown into the ground. Fair,
Immediately as he was getting on, yeah, his first
yeah,
play.
dude. Like Loroña was like fine, just not the best ending to
Vigon,
the game.
I didn't understand Vigon's
Yeah, yeah,
errors.
yeah. I noticed. What are you saying, 3Q? They were leaving players open once the subs were in. Yeah, yeah. It's just
It was
a
just too
lack,
many subs.
too many subs, and a lack of focus, a lack of concentration, which is natural to a degree whenever you're up 3 goals, right? But still, you can't. We play in a league that is so chaotic and so unpredictable that you just can't really do that, because especially the good teams, they'll come back and bite you, right? So we got away with it last night. But again, it's not so much about the performance right now because it is the start of the season as much as it is about the 3 points. And I'm telling you, man, these are 3 valuable points that are going to benefit us in the long run
Oh yeah.
at the end of the season. To get a win like that on the road against like I said, the
Yeah, these
defending
are
champ.
points we weren't counting on. Like at the start of
Exactly.
the season, we were not counting on 3 points coming from back from Toluca.
Exactly. And again,
Mhm.
to get 4 goals, to kind of have that monkey off the back,
Yeah,
knowing that the next 3 games you're going to be playing are on the road in the United States, that's a big deal because that I think will give the boys confidence to be able to keep that offensive rhythm going into these games in Houston and LA and San Diego, where maybe had they not had that last night, their confidence would not be there, right? So, um,
yeah,
all in all, it was a good result at the end of the day. Um, I thought Chewy was good again too. I forgot to mention
yeah.
him earlier. Again, he needs to be the starter going forward. Like there's no excuses to me anymore that need to be made. Whether again it's on the left or the right, like he needs to be starting week in week out. He's too important. He makes things tick, especially on the offensive end, and has gotten better as a defender recently. So
And I think his attitude, just the way he hustles for every ball, like that's contagious. And like I said last week, I mean that's important. Obviously coming from a youth player, you expect that and you want that. But we kind of saw that the rest of the team was also in that same sense running for every ball, running after every ball, making every play count. Even Ibanez. I mean, I'm not one to go back on my word, but I've said in the past that Ibanez lacked attitude and lacked intensity. And wow, I mean, I probably want to say this was Ibanez's best game at Tigres that I've ever seen. And just aside the goals, I mean, just the attitude and the intensity that he played with, just going after every ball. I mean, the way that he carried that ball down the line for the first goal. I mean, that was just like we've never seen that out of him.
and to take advantage of their high line, I thought that was good
Yeah.
because we sometimes we struggle with that with high lines. At least we did last season, and to kind of have some more success with that now when we're a more possession based team and we're not really the type that's going to throw balls over the top like that consistently.
Mm.
It was good. Um, there's obviously still a lot to work on. These next 3 games here in the States are going to be big indicators as to the progress that the team is making. But all in all, like I said, that's a very good result. That is gonna be one that we'd look back on in November and be like, glad we got those points, right?
Oh yeah. I
So
want to ask you, because obviously me and Arrondo, we were watching at a bar. Volume was down. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. We were in a conversation. We did not catch. I actually did not find out until afterwards and reading on Twitter comments and whatnot. That the Toluca goal when they started their coming back came off of a corner kick that was caused by Nahuel's. I guess exceeding the time of retention of the ball of
Yeah,
this new 8-second rule.
yeah, yeah, it
I
was.
mean, like I said, I didn't catch it live in the game. How did you? Do you feel that that was a fair call? Do you feel that it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
that
I
you
do.
could say that Noel really pushed for it?
Yeah, yeah, I do. I thought that was not good on his part.
Like
To
like he actually took like forcefully more than 8 seconds.
Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah,
felt
man.
long. It felt long watching that live. Um,
Okay.
Not great. So hopefully that gets cleaned up because that's a obviously that takes a little bit of getting used to because it's a new rule. But for a guy who's a veteran like he is, like
I just hate seeing online all the, all the hate tweeting, against one of our legends. I mean, it's not like, Nahuel is purposefully trying to sabotage us, Obviously it's a mistake on his part. We're all humans, everybody makes mistakes, and it's not the first time that he's made it. It probably won't be the last time
right,
that he'll make a mistake, but how many times has he been on the other end where he's saved us, and he's been the reason that we've won not just games but so many championships. So
right,
I hate seeing that online just from a lot of accounts, Tigres accounts with following. But it's what you get nowadays, man.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. You have any other thoughts on last night?
Yeah. So same thing, kind of goes with the hate that Nahuel has been getting. Pizarro also is getting a lot of slack still with his subs, his decisions. Um, I do think that he had to make changes. I do think that he had to bring in subs. I mean, Aquino and Garza were both. They look pretty tired. I mean, it was not an easy game. Playing at altitude, and they were being the wing backs. They're running back and forth down the field. Um, but then there's also the other changes. I believe he took out Bruneta, and that's when things kind of fell off. So I don't want to excuse Pizarro, but what were people expecting? I mean, who else do we have on the bench? Like literally, who else would you have brought on?
Yeah, the only complaint that I have was that you don't bring in Vigon and you bring in Chicha or
Yeah,
Marcelo.
youth minutes.
Yeah,
Was Chicha available? Was he in the bench?
he was on the bench, and so was Marcelo. So we had basically the exact same bench that we did last week, except he subbed out
Antuna and put in
Antuna
Chicha
and Gignac
and Guignac,
for Marcelo
Osby,
and Chicha. No, Osby was
or
there last week
Marcelo and
too.
Chicha. Oh yeah, Osby was there.
Yeah,
Um, that's the other thing, and me and Arnoldo were discussing it. I mean, 2 games in, and it seems like
bro.
in both games, like these were both great opportunities presented themselves for us to see youth minutes, get taken care of. I mean, against Juarez, what was there like 20 minutes left when we were 1 minute up? I'm gonna say 20
Yep.
minutes left at least.
Yeah. I
When
mean,
we were 1 minute
he
up.
picked worse people though. Like he didn't have anybody that qualified for it last week,
Oh yeah,
unfortunately.
last week. I mean, he didn't even have anybody on the youth, right? On the bench, right? But this game he did, and we are up 4-1 basically on the second half.
Yeah.
I think would have been a great opportunity for us to see maybe 30 minutes of Chicha Sanchez.
Yeah. Yeah.
Marcelo would have given us less minutes, but Chicha Sanchez would have definitely given us
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loroña fighting for his teammate. We love to see it. Also, it's bad to say the third goal happened after a foul that should have been a red for Toluca. Well, yeah, that's the other thing about that game is that despite the win, Gato Ortiz is still maybe the worst referee in our league, and that's saying something because all of them are bad. But that brother does not know what he's doing. He lost control of the game in the second half, both sides, um, and yeah, just not super ideal. But yeah, the youth minutes already being a concern again is very annoying. I bet you a lot of it is that he's going to rely so much on Parra to fill that void, and the fact that Parra's out injured right now um,
So,
is a big
do
deal.
you think, given that what it's 1100 minutes, right? 90 minutes a game, we would basically need one of these 100% players, be it Parra, to come in and play 13 games, 90 minutes, 13
Yeah,
90-minute games.
yeah, and then try to get whatever you can out of Chicha and Marcelo, and that's it. I think those are the only three that qualify, besides like the canteranos
I
that
mean,
we don't really know about.
at a minimum, let's say we give Parra 10 games, 10 games of 90 minutes. That's 900 minutes, and we'd still be short, right? But that's a lot of games to have a youth player who's basically only seen maybe 3, 4 games in his career at Tigres, I'm
Yeah.
going to say. And
Mira
to
este,
just
mira este in the chat, but he won't even get on. Get your butt on the show. This is your show, Mister.
This
Yes,
is
we
this
are
is where you're
trying.
taking. I'm actually talking. I'm giving his talking points. This is what he was talking about yesterday.
Ah, yeah,
Um, you know, how can you say, or how can we trust that we're gonna trust a youth player with 10 games at least of 90 minutes in 15 minutes, 15 matches that are left. It's kind of hard to believe.
yeah, yeah. I guess maybe later on we'll see some games where these other canteranos play some, but man, that's asking a lot. Especially like I said, that the fact that we have less guys who qualify now because Tapia does not qualify anymore. Neither does Social. So tough. Enough about that. I think we've covered pretty much everything about last night that I think we needed to cover. 6 points out of 6 with just the 2 games played. Everybody else has basically played 3. So currently we are sitting in
Third
third
place.
place, but with a game in hand on everybody. Pachuca somehow has won all 3 of their games to start the year, which is very interesting. So
What's his name? Jimmy Lozano, man.
I know, I know, I'm
Apparently,
stunned.
he's a great coach.
Hooray! Can't
Yeah,
forget
that's
Hooray.
probably it.
Yeah,
Oh, Ray, man.
yeah. The next league game for our boys is not until a couple weeks from now. I'm trying to remember who that next
August
game.
8th against Puebla.
That's
Viernes
right.
Botanero.
Yep, that's at home. That's a late game. It's like a 10 p.m. start.
Yeah,
So
it's a Viernes Botanero. I think that's going to be a good game. Obviously, coming back from the League's Cup, whatever results we get out of these 3 matches, hopefully. What I want to say is that regardless of the results, what I'm most hopeful is that we don't come back with any injuries.
correct,
The team comes back just healthy, and that with good confidence, so that we can carry on this winning streak that we started with in the league.
correct. Speaking of injuries, I do want to make note of this real quick before we jump into Leagues Cup conversation. For those of you who don't know as to why Andre Pierre Guignac did not make the bench yesterday, is because apparently he suffered a sprained right ankle, but a sprained right ankle that is not that serious because it sounds like he could be available for this first game of the Leagues Cup on Tuesday in Houston, and he has traveled with the team. So
Yeah, I think it was a first degree sprain, so
yeah, I guess he
nothing
picked it up in training probably. So
could
that'd be
be.
my guess. So that's why he didn't travel yesterday. That's why he was not listed on the bench, not because of any other reason, like tactical reason or anything like that. It's because he's 40 and sprained ankles maybe a little bit easier to get when you're that age. All right, Leagues Cup is back. It's a little bit different this year. So instead of all the MLS teams and all the Liga MX teams playing in this obnoxiously long tournament with a group stage and all that. Um, please help
With
me
a
welcome.
ridiculous format.
Yes, please help me welcome Arnoldo to the show, everybody. The actual man who makes the show possible. He has arrived. Um,
What's
this
up,
year,
guys? How
it's
are
a little bit
y'all?
good.
Good, good, man.
You alive?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just finish up some family time. So, like I mentioned earlier.
Okay, yeah. Nice. Very
Or,
nice.
or did you carry on with those whiskey cokes from last night?
Ah,
Oh no, not at all, not at all. I only had three of them, so it was an easy, chill night.
only 3. Okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
I'll believe it when I see it. Um, Anyways, so this year Leagues Cup is a little bit different. I'm going to spend the next couple minutes just kind of breaking it down for everybody who doesn't know or needs a reminder on how the new structure is. So instead of all 30 whatever teams in MLS and the 18 in our league It is now going to be a 36-team tournament, all 18 Liga MX teams, and then the 18 teams who qualified for the MLS Cup playoffs last season were the ones who got added into this edition, with the exception of San Diego. They got added in and replaced Vancouver because Vancouver was already playing a bunch of other competitions. So it's those 17 that made it last year plus San Diego, all 18 of ours. Last year, everybody was guaranteed 2 games in the group stage, 3-team groups. This year, everybody's guaranteed 3 games, and each matchup in these first 3 and in the quarterfinals is Liga MX versus MLS. They've been very intentional about that. And so the way that it's going to work as far as like qualifying for the knockouts of this tournament this year is that there's going to be a league table for each league. And the top 4 teams from MLS will move on, and the top 4 teams from Liga MX will move on. So the maximum you can get is 9 points out of this. I believe, as far as I understand, the rule of if it ties, it goes to penalties. I think that rule is still in effect for this tournament. So
there's not going to be any ties, basically.
correct. And if you win the penalty shootout, you get the extra point to kind of help with tiebreakers.
An extra point. Okay, so do we get a point for a tie and an
Yes.
extra point for winning penalty? So it's 2
Yes.
points instead
Yes.
of 3.
Correct. Yes.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So
What would we do without you, man?
I try. I just research, bro. I just try to do research as best I can.
You're the man.
So that is the key difference this year. And then obviously in the quarterfinal, it will be, as far as I understand, it'll be the best MLS team in the group phase versus
The best 4.
Yeah, it'll be the number 1 ranked MLS team versus the number 4 ranked Liga MX. Number 1 Liga MX versus number 4 MLS, and then 2-3 the other way. And then the semifinal, that could be the same thing where it's 1 of each league, but it also could be 2 MLS teams or it could be 2 Liga MX teams. That rule of it has to be 1 of each league doesn't matter after the quarterfinal. So
got it.
These 3 games happen real quickly in succession. The league calendars for both leagues do not stop during this. So if we were to qualify,
but ours is stopping. I mean, at least
to a degree.
We have 1 week. Yeah.
Yeah. This first for the group phase, yes, it stops for everybody. But then after that, like for the knockouts, it won't. So like if we qualify for the knockouts, the quarterfinal is like on a Tuesday or Wednesday, that 2nd or 3rd week of August. The semifinal would be the next week on a Tuesday or Wednesday, and then the final is August 31st, I think, which is a Saturday or Sunday. So, and then it'll be played. Obviously, all the games are still in the U.S. like they have been the last.
That one will fall in another break of the Liga.
Correct.
Because I believe there is another break at the end of August, beginning of September.
Yes.
Where there's no matches, so it probably coincides with that, right?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
So that is the new format for this year. So basically, in order to advance, you got to win all your games. If you want to have a real shot, you got to win all your games. And if for some reason there's multiple teams, like more than 4 teams who have gotten 9 points, you better hope you have a good goal differential, right? So, first game is Tuesday night. Tigres will be in Houston playing the Dynamo, which we know there's history there in the city with the fan base. It's been a while since I think Dynamo and Tigres have played in a match against each other, so that'll be fun to see that again. And then
have we played in an official match?
Probably not.
I mean, obviously, Leagues Cup.
Maybe like Interliga back in the day. That's probably
maybe Interliga.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Maybe
I would have remembered.
Or
was Houston Dynamo even existent back then? Like,
wait,
how long has Houston Dynamo been around?
We played them in a Conca round a few years ago. Remember that, like when we had to play. See, Trigger's right. Thank you, Conca. Yeah, the year that Valencia was here and Vargas was here. That was like 2018, 19. I'm pretty sure we had to play Houston in a knockout round. And he said he was there, so he knows. Okay. So it's been since that Conca
got it
matchup. That was the last time these two played in a competitive match. So that game is Tuesday night. Then the team flies out to California for a first ever matchup between Tigres and the newest team in MLS, San Diego FC, in that
Chucky
very nice
Lozano,
stadium. Chucky Lozano and friends, essentially.
who's
Um,
been scoring
who's been
apparently.
scoring. Yeah, he's been had a really good form recently. So that game is Friday night. Julian Quinones was our striker because Guignac was injured.
Whoa,
Nice. I don't remember that at all.
Riedger.
I remember the pictures now of them playing in the stadium because they were wearing the blue. They were wearing a blue jersey that day.
I might have been at that game as well. Because I mean, I've been to plenty of. I'm gonna say I've been to like 6 or 7 games of Tigres at the Houston Dynamo game at the
Yeah,
Houston Dynamo Stadium. So I might have been there. I just don't remember. I have really bad memory.
sure,
But thank you for Threedger for reminding us.
sure. Yes, thank you, Threediger. And then fly into LA on next Tuesday to play our old friends LAFC, and then after that we'll be back on regular league schedule.
And our
Hopefully,
flirting friend Dennis Buanga.
her correct. Maybe some business will get done in LA between the two clubs. That would be awesome. So, with all of that in mind, my friend, how are you feeling going into this for the boys? Um, Specifically going into Tuesday, that first matchup in Houston.
I think the first question that I would pose is: do we think that we're going to play with starters, or how do we think that Pizarro is going to take on this tournament? I mean, is it really an important tournament for Tigres?
Probably not in the grand scheme, but it's important for this team in the sense of like this iteration of the team to like get used to each other.
So short term, it's
Yeah,
important to get good results, not
yeah,
necessarily that the entirety of the tournament matters.
correct. Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's what I would say.
Um, so do you think we're gonna see starters on Tuesday?
Some, I think there would be some form of rotation.
There will be rotations.
I imagine that, like for example, like I don't think Ivania starts on Tuesday, but obviously,
Gacelo?
yeah, Gigak's not going to start. So Gacelo, I imagine maybe
Okay.
at least begins the game. Um, Joaquim probably comes back into the fray. Obviously, the foreigner rule goes away for this tournament, so you don't have to worry about that. So maybe this is where Joaquim
Interesting.
comes back in. Maybe you see a center back pairing of Joaquim and Romulo, which would be very interesting. Or maybe we see Romulo like in his like natural number 6 spot. Goriaran pushes up, Bruneta pushes up, maybe Correa ends up playing on a wing and rotates. I don't know. I think there's a lot of different ways that they could go about because of the fact that you don't have to think about the foreigner rule
What
for the.
about players that have not seen any minutes? What about the Marcelos, the Chicha? Do you foresee them getting some time
I do. I think Antuna will definitely get some time. Um,
if he's back from injury?
yeah, yeah. Obviously, we expect to see Ignac. Maybe not on Tuesday. I bet you he doesn't play at all. But I would honestly, I would be stunned if he doesn't play the last 2 games in California. I think he'll go harder for those 2 games in California because those are going to be tougher opponents. I think you can get away with a little bit more rotation on Tuesday
Against Houston.
against Houston. Not to say that Houston's a bad team because they're not, and they actually have a pretty solid coach. But that's the one game where you can get away with a little bit more changing of the guard because San Diego's going to be really tough. I'll get to that later. And
How's
LAFC.
Houston doing? How's Houston doing in terms of the MLS?
I don't remember exactly where they are, but I can look that up here as we speak.
Yeah.
Looks
So
like
I mean, I completely agree with you. I think that if there is any opportunity for us to see any rotation, it's this game against Houston. And I would be okay with it. I mean, I would be okay with it. I think we can still pull off the result. Maybe we can see like a half game situation where, half the game we beat Dynamo 2-0. Valencia and Julian were the ones to score. It was in 19. Nice.
nadie me
Um,
acuerdo.
I think it would be nice. It would be maybe nice to see like a half breed team of like starters and some subs, suplentes. Um, that they could get the job done.
Yeah. Houston is sitting in 11th place in the Western Conference on 27 points. For context, LAFC is on 36 points in 6th place, and San Diego is the best team in the West with 46. So,
Yeah, so Houston is the mid team,
yep.
basically.
Yeah, this is the one. This is in theory is the easiest game of the three.
The winnable,
Yes,
the most winnable.
the most likely to win. I don't know though. I don't know if you're there on standby, but if you have any thoughts, please let us know what you think about Leagues Cup as you think about Tuesday night specifically. Like if you see any rotation happening, what do you think if you're there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that one of the things that I'd be looking for is like obviously you mentioned the Gacelo Lopez inclusion into the starting lineup. So definitely counting on that, and I expect to, look for more of the role definition that this player is going to have on the squad. As you talked about Nico Ibanez possibly sitting out. So I think again a good area of opportunity to for Guido to show his cards because it's been a little confusing with what he's done lately with the substitutions, and I think we all can agree on that. It seems like the substitutions in both matches has not been the best, and therefore even created dysfunctional at times after the substitution. So um, with the possible rotation, which I definitely agree with, I think that this is a great opportunity to see the cards that were being dealt with under Guido Pizarro.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's an important. I said this last episode. I think that despite the fact that it is not the most important tournament that we play, I think for this team, for this coaching staff that is still relatively new, to find a style of play that really works for Guido to like implement his style of play. I think it's so important to take these games more seriously than maybe we would expect, just so they can gel better. Because I think the benefits of that would be good down the line. Um, so let's predict the starting lineup for Tuesday. At
Go
goalie,
right ahead.
uh,
Now,
Nawel. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, I don't think. I mean, some people are worried that he might have been hurt
Yeah,
in Saturday's game, but I don't think so.
I imagine that.
You don't think this is a good opportunity to finally use Tapia?
Oh, I mean, I love it. I'd love to use Tapia. I'm just curious as to where Guido's head is at.
I just think
With
it's a
all that.
position where you don't risk it, or at least, and not that Tapia's a risk, because obviously when he was used in the past, he did great. Um, but just consistency wise and to keep the morale. I mean, not that Noel is a player that needs morale, but I just don't see it happening. I think that he'll stick with Noel.
Okay. Um, the wing backs, I imagine, honestly, will probably say the same as well. Although I do think that Loroña could come in and start um, over at right
Yeah,
back, and
I
Aquino gets
think
some
Aquino
rest.
could get some rest. Yeah, I could be on board with that.
Yeah. I don't know though. Do you agree or
Inter-
disagree?
Interesting thought that I came across on the timeline today, and talking about Aquino, possibly being rotated out. Where do you think was the disconnect with him being like the best option at the outside back position? Because he's played obviously on the right where he starts now, but he got a lot of time at the left back position at times if he was needed. And I came across this tweet where it just references like that Aquino should have been like the equivalent of what Damian was for us, with the 15 to 20 minute left in the game mark and coming in and like helping out offensively because he's never really been a defender, but we've taken advantage of his back and forth and his pace, because he's got excellent pace and offensively he adds, but defensively he tends to be or make errors at times. So, what do you guys think about that as you guys made that note in rotating Aquino out?
I mean, I don't disagree. I feel like even these first two games of this new season, you can tell that there's been a little bit more of a decline than even last season. And I think that it's probably right to phase him out from a starter. I would personally like to see him. I said this last episode, but I would personally like to see him play more advanced if he comes off the bench, just because I think he's an option there. And he's now the guy with the most assists in Tigres history. Um, based on the one he got yesterday. So I think he can be useful in that Damian type of role, like you said. So
I think more than a dig at Aquino or to say that that he needs to be sat out. I see it more as an opportunity for Loroña to step up. I mean, because obviously, I think last season, he did surprise us. Getting minutes under Guido Pizarro, and it seems to be, based on what's been said, that obviously he's on the coaching staff's good grace, and they have high hopes for him. So this would be a great opportunity for him to show himself, show what he can do, and yeah, potentially, fight for that position and try to beat out Aquino for it. Even though, yeah, Aquino is a liability, I still think he is more reliable than what Loroña may be. But this is an opportunity. I mean, he's got to show up at some moment if we are going to end up facing out Aquino because of his age, and he's in his last year or season of contract.
right, right,
I would just like to see Chuy Garza given that shot for an entire season. I think that,
On the right back,
obviously that, yeah, at the right back position. And I
but
think
then
that's
who would you
where,
put on the left back?
yeah. No, I get that that's where he's needed at the moment.
Yeah,
I just think that, like, I'm ready to see Chuy Garza. And I think that, you know, not sure if it actually is a feasible option because he does have younger Mexican players at those positions, and he's probably looking to get more out of them, like Ociel and Lainez, even using Antuna. But ultimately, I think Aquino could have been a great option in the years past. And, I think it's very close now that Trigarza gets the starting position throughout their whole season and maybe not entirely at the left back position, which is still improvised at the end of the day.
right. Yeah. Unless we sign somebody, which would be great if we did.
Yeah,
Center backs. I think Joaquin steps in.
agreed.
The question is who partners him. Does Purata stay there? Does Romulo stay there?
I think you give
I don't know.
Romulo the.
No, go ahead, Arnoldo.
I was going to say, I think I'd like to see Romulo get that nod still. I think that we all benefit from him getting adjusted more and more to that position.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's been the conversation. It hasn't come out directly out of Pizarro's mouth, but everybody's, kind of flirting with the idea that that's going to be Suarez's position, and that's the reason why he's getting the minutes and the nod in these initial games, because he has to get minutes under his belt in order to gain the confidence and gain the experience that he needs uh, to be reliable at that position. I would like to think that it's not because Joaquin's game has gone down or declined. I would like to think that it's because of that, because we want to give Swarg more minutes and more experience. So yeah, I would definitely go with Joaquin and Swarg. And I think that Purata did not necessarily have a good game against Toluca, so it might be good to sit him down and just talk to him, coach him from the sidelines.
Sure. Okay, midfield.
So we're set on Garza on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, no?
100%. He's going to
Yeah.
keep getting reps too.
Yep. Midfield. I kind of don't think this will change either. Like I
Me neither.
imagine Goriaran will stick to his spot and probably Bruneta. I mean, you just can't trust Vigon to start at this point. Um, and I don't think Sebastian is going to be playing in a deeper midfield role either because he's never really done that. So and Barra sounds like he's not going to be back at least for Tuesday. I don't know the extent of his injury.
What about Pizzuto? I mean, do we think that maybe he gets a chance?
Well,
Dude,
if this is
that's,
if there's one game, it's gonna be this one, right?
I was going to say, like, this could be his shot. What you got? If Parra's out, Bigon gives the other option there, but he doesn't fit that at all. So Nando is the one that has to probably start again, at least to continue and have that balance and give him even more reps at that center defensive mid.
Yeah,
So let's say he goes with that. He needs some type of pairing. This is where I think Cordova does definitely get some playing time. I think Bruneta gets uh, the rest per se.
well, there's Streaker agreeing with you there. with that take.
Yeah, I would agree that Cordova could take Bruneta's spot, but I was talking about Pizzuto taking on Gorreran's spot.
Mm,
Yeah, I could see it, but I think Nando gets the reps.
okay.
Because
Sorry. Go
wouldn't
ahead.
you agree? Like he's more in of a deeper role this season, so I think that he's
Yeah.
still trying to adapt to that role.
Right. Yeah. Trying to get used to that. Yeah.
And I also think you have to have one of your captains on the field. And being that the three captains are Gorreran, Bruneta, and Angulo, if we're assuming Bruneta's out, then yeah, and obviously Angulo's out because of injury, so uh, Gorreran's probably kind of has to stay in.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Um, the forwards. Oh man. Uh, I think Ociel should keep starting. Personally. Um, I think if there is a time to rest Linez, it would be this game. But again, the options are limited. So like, does Marcelo come in and take his spot? Um, I don't know. I think Castelo will start. Personally, I think Ibanez does get a little bit of rest, and
Correa.
I think so. I think Correa will at least start. I don't think he plays the full 90 for sure. At least not this time. But I think the more reps that he can get, the better. So, any other
I
ideas?
kind of I kind of disagree on Osiel and Linus. I think Linus carries on. He's been having a good 2 games, and I mean, he can carry on and continue to pay. The more he has consistency, the better his game will continue to be. And I think Osiel, on the other hand, like I just wouldn't risk him. I mean, he's too important of a player, and because of his past history of injuries, like that would be a player that I would take care of and not risk him in a game like this.
That's a fair point. Okay, I don't know though if you're there.
Yeah, I'm here.
Step.
It's tough, man. I mean, I feel like they're young. This is where like, we got a couple rotations already in here. I don't think you need to change it entirely. I think with the idea of that you ride what's working right now, and it seems like Linus and Osil are both working. Antuna was out with an injury, so that ruled the possibility out unless he's like magically saving. They were saving him for this game, and
What
back to
about
full health,
Marcelo?
and I think he's not part of the plans.
Okay.
I think he's deep in the bench.
Okay. 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 So that's basically the 11 at that point. Um.
Yep.
We got a
Again,
lot of movement up there.
yeah, I think there's less movement on Friday for sure, because again, you need your best guys against that solid San Diego team, and you also need guys looking ahead to San Diego. The thing that impresses me so much about them is that they play so direct and they move the ball so quickly. They're great on the counter, great in transition. So to me, it's like that's a game where Joaquim has to start because of his pace and ability to get back. Um, you got to have your wing backs be ready to go because they have this tandem of Chucky Lozano, who's been good lately, but the guy who's been good all year is Andres Dreyer, this guy that they got from I believe Denmark. I can't remember what club he's from, but I would argue he's probably the MLS MVP frontrunner right now. Just statistically, his output has been unbelievable, and his ability to create for himself and for his teammates has impressed me in the games that I've seen San Diego play. Um, they just have like a very like modern approach to the game with the way that they play. It's very like I said, it's direct, but also like they have their own style and they don't go away from that. And so we have to like adjust to that as best we can, especially with the pace that they have kind of all over the field. So I'm very much looking forward to that game. I think that might be the most like electric game of the three that we're going to play. But I think it will also be a challenge because their pace does give me some concern considering we have older legs. That's just the nature of it. So um, that to me is a big game, and then obviously LA is LA, and they've been
Two
go
Do
through
we
there.
have older legs though, or we have one older leg?
Eh,
'Cause I feel like everyone's on the younger side. The only
ish.
one that's on the field is Aquino. That would be young. Nando's, no more than 30.
Yeah, I think
Berneta's
Nando's 30, Brunetta 29. I mean Correa obviously 30. Um, Ociel and Linus, they're still young. So yeah,
yeah,
I agree with Arnoldo. We're no longer. I don't think we can no longer excuse ourselves with that
correct.
age
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah. We don't
Yeah,
have
this is
Carioca.
they're everybody's in their prime in terms of even
Age.
the young guys. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Um, again, I'm very much looking forward to that. And then LA, they've had a very up and down season. Um, they don't have Giroud anymore, which I'm honestly really bummed about that. I thought we were gonna get a Gignac versus Giroud um, matchup this year, and
Yeah, that would have been fun. That would have
yeah,
been fun to watch.
yeah, but that's not gonna happen anymore. But they're a team that, despite their form, they're a team that always gives us a little bit of trouble just with the way that they play, and they get up for us. They do. So obviously the key to that game to me is Boanga, like stopping Boanga and limiting his impact because he is the head of the snake when it comes to that team. They are a little bit depleted defensively. Their best center back, Aaron Long, just tore his ACL, so they are not as strong at the back as they were previously. Even though they have Hugo Lloris, but they will be a challenge like they always are. But I think that we should still be the favorites to win that game. Um, just based on the crop of players that we have, and they're a little bit lighter as far as depth goes this year than they have been previously. Um, I think here's what I think as we kind of predict Leagues Cup. I think we win on Tuesday, and I think we win next Tuesday against LA. I don't know how to call this San Diego game. I I think we could lose like 3-0, or we could win 1-0, or we could tie 3-3. I mean, it could be any of those things just based on how the contrasting styles kind of, you know, mash up against each other. So, what do y'all think as far as like game by game? How do you see each game going?
I'm going www.tigreswins.com.
My man, my man.
Love the confidence. Oh, can I say, Arnoldo, that perhaps your confidence is there thanks to the fact that you were the one that was very insisting on this last week, that the Toluca game was the winnable one, that was going to be proof that this team could take it, or at least that this team has what it takes. Has that maybe changed your mentality, and that's why you're this confident?
I think it goes back to, like you mentioned, previous conversation on the previous pod, and it all derives from the fact that I know now, based on yesterday's actions, that even if you call that Toluca rotated players, that's great. The reason why they're the champs is because they've learned how to rotate players. We used to do that. America did that. So that's part of successful and championship caliber teams. They are that. They're, one of the favorites to win it, at least top two contender. And so I think that ultimately that the confidence in some of the action that some of the players displayed, I think that you can move forward with that and at least learn to be disciplined and figure out ways to win. Even though like they gave up 2 goals at the end of that match, the intensity, the effort, the intent to associate themselves together and build sequences of a good possession was there, and it was at times fast paced, and I think that's something that I really enjoyed. It was a little you know erratic at times, but ultimately these guys show that they can win against a very good team, and so great boost of confidence. And I think that against MLS teams, I think that no matter even if San Diego could be on a good run, I think that we are the superior team in terms of talent overall. And I think that they should be approached, in what we think and what we have seen based on Leagues Cups, CONCACAFs, that we are the better league and therefore the better team with the roster and squad that we have.
And more experience, way more experience than them.
100%.
I will say win against Houston, tie against San Diego, win against LA. And I just want to share a short fact. This would not be if Angel Correa scores against San Diego. This would not be the first time that he scores against Hugo Lloris. So maybe that's what he needs. He needs to see
Ah,
a familiar facing under the goalpost,
ah,
somebody that he scored against for him to get a goal in finally with Tigres.
that's a fair point. He probably scored on him in the Champions League at some point.
How do we feel about his actions so far?
We talked about it a little bit before you jumped on. I thought yesterday, well, I think we both agreed, Alfred and I, that his like off the ball work was really good, and the fact that he was drawing defenders out to allow other guys to have more space and to get open and all that. I thought it was good. Like he has a 6.8 FOT mob rating from last night, and I feel like that's too low. Like I thought
Completely
he was,
unfair.
I thought he was impactful in a lot of ways, especially the first half.
Do we foresee him scoring in League Cup out of the 3 matches?
I hope so. I sure hope so. I bet you. I don't know. I don't want to say how he gets it, but I would not be surprised if his first goal is a pen, like a PK of sorts.
Do we think he'll get the pens though? Like, is that was that something that he would normally be assigned to at Atletico Madrid?
Not really.
But definitely has taken them.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, he has, but
Yeah.
I think it's. I'm going even deeper than that, Alfred. I think it's in the contract stipulation.
Ah!
Oh man.
I think
It's in
that
the
he's
script?
your star. He's yeah, absolutely star signing. You unretired a jersey. Your forward has tend to be, erratic and not always involved at times. He had one of the greatest games that he's had at his career at Tigres, but I think that it's just a great chance. Brunetta is maybe a captain, but this is your star player that you brought. So I think ultimately he's definitely the number one taker unless APG is on the field. And even then, I think APG would probably give that up at this point.
Yeah, I mean the last couple of PKs that APG has had, tough.
If I agree with you, I don't know, but if Correa wasn't on the field, who I would give my nod to? Ociel.
Ooh,
We've seen it before. We've seen Guignac let Ociel take a penalty kick, and he's done great.
you're
All
on.
right, well, let's call it. Who's the
No.
top
I
five?
think if Correa's on the field, Correa will be the penalty kicker.
Who's the 5 if we're in a shootout or need to be in a shootout?
Oh yeah, because Dennis mentioned it. If we happen to tie, so if my prediction is right, if we tie against San Diego, then we go to penalty kicks.
Yeah, to get the
Penalty
extra
shootout.
point.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's interesting. I would say, hopefully, if Guignac is on, we'd go first with Guignac. Then we'd go with Angel Correa. Then we go with Bruneta. I would go with Ociel and Purata.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all.
Okay.
What you got, Dennis?
Correa, Bru, Nico. I was gonna say Angulo, but Angulo's not around right now.
Yeah.
Gorri and yeah, probably Purata too.
I'm going APG if he's playing.
Sure.
This is where the order changes for me, though. If he's not playing, then I want Correa opening it up. But if APG's on the field, I want APG followed by Brunetta and then third Correa, followed by Ociel and then Purata.
Okay. Nice.
The same names. Nice.
Nice. Cool beans.
Yeah, I wanted to put Nando in there, but I think the Purata still has a better touch.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's
And
fair.
it's very interesting, guys, that we brought it. Obviously Dennis brought it up first about the rule, and Rondo, you brought up the the take on who's going to take the penalty kicks. I hope that Pizarro and the team, the coaching staff, is looking into it, and I hope that they're training for him. Because yeah, I mean, obviously, unless we didn't, this rule didn't exist. I mean, it's obviously important to make sure that they're on point in their penalty kicks.
Right. Right. Okay, so obviously the expectation is to move on. Arnoldo and Threeker have both said 3 wins. Alfred and I both are saying probably 8 points out of 9, realistically. Do you think that if we were to tie that any of these games, but let's say hypothetically that San Diego game, that we still have a good chance, or do you think that we're toast if we tie that game? Alfred.
I mean, I think we're good. Um, honestly, I'm not gonna lie and say here that I know who everybody else is playing against because I don't.
Yeah.
But I think it's a fairly good chance if we just focus on who the best Mexican teams are and who would hypothetically be the teams that would get the most points and be at the top of the standings in those first 4 spots. I would probably go with Toluca, America, Tigres, and a toss up between Monterrey and Cruz Azul. So I think it's fair to say if we get 8 points, that we'd be safe. Obviously, 9 would be better.
Sure. I'm just kind of looking at schedule for some of these other teams. Toluca, they're the first game on Tuesday, and they get Columbus in Columbus.
Yeah, that's a tough one for
That's,
them.
that's a tough game, and then they go to. It looks like they go to New York after that, and
Easy.
then NYCFC, and then they end with. It looks like. Nope, I totally missed it. I don't know where they went. I don't know who they end against, but they have a hard-ish beginning. Oh, Montreal. They play Montreal. Okay, that's
That's
actually
easy.
that's a very easy. They should
Yeah.
win.
So their only harder
last-
one is Columbus.
Yep. Pachuca has San Diego, LAFC, and then I think they have somebody else. After that, can't remember off the top of my head. I mean, I'm not going to go through all of these, but that's
Yeah.
kind of where we're at with all that. I think it looks like it's a pretty even spread based on what I skimmed out earlier. I forgot about this. Mazapan in Leagues Cup though is a different beast. Yeah, with Samir and Siboldi and Piojo Fierro leading the charge. Of course it is. That's funny. Cool. Before we wrap up Leagues Cup talk, we do need to talk about the element of Leagues Cup that involves the fans. Tigres Week 2025, which begins tomorrow in Houston with the pre-match party at the bar that those
Pitch
things.
25.
Yes, Pitch 25, which that's where those things are usually held at I believe 8 p.m. Alfred said he's going to be there. Our friend David is going to be there. I don't know if you're going to be there, I don't know though, but
Threedger, you gonna be there?
yeah, if you're in Houston or if you're close to Houston, go show up to tomorrow. Show up to obviously to the game on Tuesday. Make your presence felt. So that's the first 2 days. They flew in today, so they're already here in the States. And then I believe after that, if I remember correctly, I'm pulling up the schedule that they sent out in that email. There's a fan zone on Tuesday before the game outside the stadium, like there usually is. Then they fly into San Diego on Wednesday. There is a fan zone on Friday before the game in San Diego. There is a open training session for fans to attend the next morning in San Diego. Then they arrive to LA on the 3rd. On the 5th is this game. 5th is the game with the fans right before, and then there's a meet and greet on the 4th on that Monday. So lots of chances to go see the guys, to potentially even meet them. Trying my best to go to Pitch 25 and possibly see the practice. Gotcha. If you guys need to know where that information is at, it's on the Tigres website so that you can know where to go for all that, whether you are going to Houston or whether you're traveling out to California or if you're in California. That information is all on the team website. And make your presence felt, because for some of us here who will not be able to attend these events, at least for right now, um, we appreciate you guys holding down the fort for us if you do go. So um, go out to all those things. It'll be a good time, and hopefully there will be some more things like that if we advance in the competition later in the month. So
Yeah. I was gonna
um,
say
go ahead.
I was gonna say, that it was a shame that they didn't set up like a meet and greet or whatever here in Houston. But since you mentioned, obviously, you have the whole schedule. Mr. Den is always prepared. That they're having a meet and greet in San Diego, so it makes sense. I mean, they've
LA.
had meet and greets, or in LA, they've had meet and greets here in Houston before. Obviously, it's very short, time span from last night's game to Tuesday's game, so it's understandable that perhaps there wasn't enough time to get that set up. But obviously, hopefully we can get as much showing as possible for at least for the Houston game. I'm not going to be there. I'm going to be traveling to Nashville, but I will be there tomorrow at the pre-match party. Maybe hoping to get some signatures as we've done in the past from some former players who knows who'll be there. But if not, at least just to hang out with the gang and hopefully get the vibes going for Tuesday's game.
And if there's any stickers that are given out this year, please let us know.
We're gonna
Because
be fighting for stickers again.
I'm still bitter about that monstrosity.
Hey, if we're not able to get the stickers, at least we know Arnoldo has the hookup to get the Temu version stickers or the.
Yeah. Oh, Trigger's saying also the Houston game is super close to being sold out. Oh, I didn't know that.
Is
That's
it?
good. That's awesome. That's wonderful.
Wow, that's that's surprising to me.
Weeknight.
It is surprising. Yeah, weeknight. If you guys recall last year's Tigres week, we actually had, three matches basically in the same week at Houston, where we had a Tigres femenil game,
Right.
followed by the Tigres versus Puebla game, which was midweek, and then culminating in the amazing game at Reliance Stadium versus Miami, right?
Right.
So if I recall correctly, last year that obviously the feminine game doesn't have there wasn't much expectation for showing, but I felt like it had a good showing. And then but the mid game against Puebla, it was a letdown. I think because most of the people were coming to see the game against Miami, and so this time around with this game being basically one game versus Houston, and then the other two games being out in LA, it almost seems like the attraction, at least for everybody that's coming from out of town, or that's maybe flying in from Mexico, is to go straight to California to be able to catch those two games in 3 or 4 days.
Right.
And perhaps the skip out game or the game to miss out on is this Houston game. But I'm glad that like Trigger is saying that there's almost going to be a sold out.
Yeah. Yeah. Get your tickets if you haven't already. I believe the Houston game's on SeatGeek, and then everything else is, I believe, on Ticketmaster based on what the other two teams use. If you need to know where to watch Leagues Cup, as it
Apple
is
TV.
every year, Apple TV MLS Season Pass. It has it. If you're a T-Mobile subscriber, um, you can get it for free on Tuesday of this week if you have the T-Mobile Tuesdays app, like I do. So you can get that. Also, the game on Tuesday in Houston is going to be shown on TUDN. If anybody wants to watch it in Spanish, I believe it is also going to be shown on TUDN on Friday as well as FS1. So you have
So
three.
I would assume those would go on VIX as well because
It
they're
says
through the NA.
it says Unimas for
Okay,
TUDN.
so maybe
Yeah.
not.
So
Okay,
Unimas, Apple TV, Season Pass, and FS1 for the San Diego game, and then it looks like MLS Season Pass is the only place you can watch the LAFC game next week.
got it.
So, um, so yeah, get your Apple TV subscriptions in order. All right, a couple of things real quick, and then we will get out of here. The Originals collection dropped on Friday. Alfred has received his shirt from that
Oh yeah.
collection. Uh, it will not stay with him very long because he's going to return it because he says it's too big. But he's got the white T-shirt that they dropped with that collection. The jersey, the jackets, the shorts, um the sambas. There's
The Sambas, I'm going for those as well.
yeah, same. I already told my tia, I was like, mi regalo de cumpleaños, ahí está. Dámelo. So
Are you gonna get the yellow jersey, the
yes,
original jersey?
I'll get it at some point. Yeah. It sounds like that they have made a lot more of those than they did with the long sleeve originals jersey from a few
It
years ago.
looks like it. I mean, from the looks of it, like it's popping up everywhere, even
Yeah,
in France.
it's in Europe. Yeah, exactly. And in Miami, and I'm sure they're at the Adidas stores here. So go get your stuff from that collection on there. If you don't know where to go for that, Fanatics has a couple things. The Adidas website here obviously has a couple things, but obviously Tigre Tienda supports the team directly. And then also Adidas in Mexico and Innova Sport has some of that stuff as well. The Sambas, though, are only sold down there. They're not sold up here. So you'll have to make that happen down there. The Sambas having Tigres on one shoe and Samba on the other is really cool. Yeah, I did notice that. I didn't see that in the original league, but that is cool that they did that.
I misread for some reason. I thought that he was talking about. Okay, I'm gonna get the blue Sambas, but I already have the yellow Sambas from last year, right? So for some reason, I was thinking that he was talking about having one yellow shoe, one blue shoe.
Nice.
I'm actually considering it now.
Oh, I love that. Aren't those technically gazelles? Or are they
Yeah,
Sambas?
Gazelle. Sorry. Yeah, very
Okay.
similar, but yeah, they're gazelles.
Yeah, basically the same thing. I mean, Adidas, a lot of their stuff looks similar. It's three stripes. Yeah, so go check out that collection if you haven't already. Last but not least, Tigres Femenil plays tomorrow at the same time as the pre-match party in Houston. Remind me who we play, Alfred?
We play Santos Laguna, which should be a fairly easy matchup.
I mean, I would imagine lo vamos a golear because I'm pretty
I
sure
mean,
we destroyed them last year.
that's the expectation. I mean, that's the expectation. If if we're able to get good, it says Gazelle on one foot, Zambas on the other. I'm down. See, yeah, if we're able to get good, good results against Toluca, against Necaxa, obviously, Santos should be fairly easy. And I do want to mention, if in case y'all haven't heard, Thembi is back.
Thembi is back. She's back in training.
Do we think she'll play? I don't think she'll play, but maybe
Nah,
she'll
not
get some
that
minutes.
quickly. Not that quickly. I bet you she makes an appearance. But yeah, it's good to have her back. Gives us another option on the attacking front. Um, we're kind of a little thin at the start of this year with her being out, and then Cordinali also getting an injury as
Injured.
well. Yeah, she sprained her ankle.
I mean, but they at least they haven't been missed. With Maria Sanchez, playing that right wing, and then
Right.
with Ordonez, right, our
Yeah,
new striker, who's been quite a good surprise.
yeah, she's been really, really solid so far. The full squad is back. Yes, Streaker, that's right. So that game is tomorrow, and then are they back at home after that? You remind me?
So after that, yes, on Friday, August 1st, so back-to-back games basically in the same week, we're gonna have Tigres versus Mazatlan game,
Okay.
which Mazatlan usually gives Tigres Femenil a hard time, but
And that game's at
hopefully we
home
can get
too. So
at
doble
home.
jornada as far as
Pretty
like
much. Yeah.
men playing on the same night as the Amazonas. So
Oh, so the San Diego game is Friday, right? Yeah, you're right.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so what time is the San Diego game?
Oh, it's late. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that is
Because
a
the Tigres Femenil is 9 p.m.
ooh. The San Diego game is at 10.
Oh, so back to back. So we're only gonna be able to catch first half if we want to switch over to Apple TV, or have the dual screen action.
Like me, yeah. Estrella TV on one screen and Apple or whatever on the other.
There you go.
Not that hard. Um, no, it is hard. Well, that's good. That should be 6 points out of 6, and anything less than that
Hopefully,
is disappointing. Personally, we'll see
right.
about the actual process of those games, but You got to get 6 points out of that, personally. Are we missing anything else?
We didn't have an outline, but I believe Edgar did tell us that he was going to add to an outline an apology to Mr. Lou Popovich.
Well, I wish he
So
was
I'll
here to
I'll
give that
I'll lead
apology.
it on and say, Lou, maybe you're going to be right this season. Maybe this is Ibanez um, coming out party finally after what 2 years, 2.5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it was surprising what we saw from Ibanez on Saturday, and I'm not. You may call me a hater, but I'm always going to be a Tigres supporter, and I definitely want whoever is our lead striker to be having good games, because if he's having good games, then that means that our team is going to get good results. So obviously, we hope that he can continue this momentum.
Correct. Yeah.
Yep.
I agree. I'm just gonna throw my hands up and be like, all right, you've got us so far, Lou Pop. You've got us so far. We'll see what happens as the season goes
No
on.
hat
But
trick so far, though. No hat trick so
no,
far.
not yet. So that brings our tally to Ociel has 2 goals and Nico has 2 goals, right?
Yes.
4 of our 5, because the one last night, the extra one was the own goal.
Yep.
It's pretty good. I'm telling
Right.
you, the goals are going to be distributed between the squad this year. It's not going to be a one man show, I don't think.
Yeah. And assist wise, I mean, obviously Ibanez got his assist there, but I think Linus is he's going to have. I'm not sure if one of the goals was his assist or was it Aquino's. I think it was Aquino's. But I think Linus has been having great games, and we're going to continue to see him contribute in the offense that way.
Right, right. All right, my friend. I think we've covered everything that we need to cover tonight. Um, we will be back. I don't know if within the week. We've all got a lot going
It's
on.
kind of hard.
All of us on the crew have got multiple different things going on this week. So no promises. If I'm able to pull together a post game show, maybe Friday night after the San Diego game, like midnight hours with Dennis, maybe that would be the case. But I would not expect us to be back until after the LA game next week. But if we come back sooner, we'll try to let you guys know, especially if you guys are on the Twitter. Thanks for being here. Um, Chat, what are we doing? I mean, we love the Threakers in the chat holding it down, but we need more of you in the chat. So come hang out with us in the chat next episode and in all the future episodes. As well, follow us on all of our socials. You can find the handles. If you're watching right now, you can find it on the little ticker below, but you can also find the handles in the description on the YouTube video and on the podcast description if you're listening to audio only. And you can follow all of us individually. Alfred is at Tigres Takes. I'm at my full name. Um, our boy Edgar is at Double Nation, and Lou is at Tigres_English, like he always is. So yeah, give us a follow there. Let us know, please. Let us know if you are coming down to Houston. If you're going to be a part of Tigres Week in any way, please let us know. We'll try to get some connections going with everybody, especially if you're in Houston. I don't know who else making it out to California, but especially for Houston, these next couple of days, like please let us know so we can get to meet people that we haven't met yet and reconnect with some of you that we haven't met before. And don't forget to get your Apple subscriptions for the next week or so. So until next time, we will see you guys. Like I said, probably next week, but maybe within the week at some point as well. We appreciate y'all. Arriba la U, and we'll see you guys later. Thank you, Alfred.
Catch you guys at the pre-match party tomorrow.
Boom.